Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm not very well lit, am I? So welcome back to the third day of our root chakra exploration. Today is going to be our last step. Today is going to be the day that we are actually going to program into the future what it is that we want to see. So for today, we're going to start the process the same as the last couple of days. One second. Okay, so we are going to do the same thing that we have been doing for the last couple of days, and that is we're going to go into the space of the root chakra again, and we are going to again be in observation, see if anything changed from what we did yesterday and everything that we released. We have now gotten to know our root chakra. We have gotten to see it for the first time and observe what's there and notice any blockages that are there and released any blockages that we wanted to. And so today on the back of all of that, we get to move on to the next step and now start to imagine and dream and put out and express what it is we want to feel moving forward. Because in life, you are always in the driver's seat. You can choose. So yesterday we chose to let go of that which no longer serves us in time for the full moon in Capricorn, which is very fitting. And today what we're going to do is we are going to broadcast and we are going to let the universe know how it is that we want to move forward. And in order to do that, we're going to use neurographic geometry. We're going to use very, very simple geometric shapes. And we are going to, everybody is going to do this a little bit differently. This is going to be abstract. There are no right or wrong answers. You don't need to copy what I'm doing. In fact, you don't want to be copying what I'm doing, because what I'm doing today is about my observation and how I choose to move forward. Okay? So what you want to do today is to put whatever geometric shapes, I'm going to introduce them to you in 1 second, but we're going to use them to express how we want this to be moving forward. You can use only one shape, you can use two, you can use all three, you can use spirals, you can use whatever you like. The point is we're graphically representing that which we want to see moving forward. Okay? So, in neurographic art, there are three main shapes with specific meanings, okay, or specific symbology. And these are, of course, symbolic. Remember that a symbol is something that you associate different meanings to at different times based on context. Otherwise, it would be a sign. Right? So a symbol loses its symbology if it always has a direct, exact meaning. The meaning of symbology is always inferred based on what it's around, based on the circumstances, based on the observer. It is symbolic, right? If the same sign, if the same graphics are always supposed to have the same meaning, then it becomes a sign. A sign is universal and it always means the same thing. Think of things like traffic signs, or when you're in an airport, signs for your luggage, or the plane, meaning gates, or washrooms. These are signs. They mean the exact same thing every single time. What we are using here is symbology and symbolic. Okay, so the first of the three geographic geometries is the circle. That is not a very good circle, but it is the circle. The point of a circle is a few things. Number one, it encompasses an idea. Right? So it gives you an encapsulation of time, energy, matter, whatever. Because remember, our page is the pleroma. It is the field of all probabilities and possibilities. So by creating an area, we can create an area of self-expression. We can create an area that is contained. We are essentially saying to the universe, I'm not dictating terms anywhere else, but in this one area, this is what I would like to see come about. A circle also has no beginning and no end. So it is our sign for divinity, for calm, for peace, for cooperation. Circles that intersect each other create other geometric shapes, including seed of life and flower of life, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the circle is very calming. It's encircling anytime, and it's part of what we do when we round. When we're creating all of these connections, we're creating all these tiny little circles for our brain to see, right? Because even when you see a portion of a circle, your brain actually completes that circle. The same way that if I were to draw 3 dots really close to each other, you don't see 3 dots, you see a triangle. If I put 4 dots together like this, immediately you see a square. If I do this way, you immediately see a diamond. We create the connections. Your brain creates them automatically and quickly. So the same thing happens if I create a semicircle, your brain completes the semicircle. Okay? So we use circles to create calm, to create containment, to create self-expression, all of these things. The second geometric shape that we use a lot is the square. And the idea of the square is that the square is the foundation, right? It also encapsulates energy like the circle does, but now we have very distinct corners, whereas here we had no corners, here we have very visible corners. And these kinds of sharp angles are essentially places for conflict, okay? And cooperation. They're opportunities. These are the things we round. These are the things that we bring peace to. These coming together of different energies, energies in seemingly different directions, and constraining them all. Okay? So anytime we want to strengthen something, anytime we want to create a foundation, anytime we want to invoke willpower, anytime we want to evoke an energy of building, of forward momentum, of stability, of growth, all of that is encapsulated in the square. The very last one is a triangle. And a triangle is our change agent. The triangle is sharp on all the corners, and it cuts through. It also can point in a specific direction, right? It can point to change. It can talk about changing directions. Okay, on the one side, it is incredibly stable. On the other side, it's incredibly aerodynamic, which means it can split energy. So anytime we are talking about change, bringing about change, going through change, things changing around us, us willing things to change, anytime we want to depict the energy of change, we use the triangle. Now, I'm not going to use it in what we're doing today, but in general, since we're going through them, I can introduce you to one last thing that we use a lot, and that's a spiral. We have 2 kinds of spirals. We have a manifesting spiral, which moves outward, right? And then we have a concentrating spiral, which moves inward. visually they would look exactly the same to you. Now, if I'm manifesting, that means I am putting my will, I am broadcasting my will to the universe. I'm saying, this is what I want. I am owning it, I am proclaiming it, I am broadcasting it. So I am the center, and therefore it's a spiral that starts from me and moves outward into the universe. Okay, and we're always going to end our spirals at a high point. You don't want it to be on the downward trajectory. On the other side, if I am praying for the strength to do something, to bring about a change, to have the willpower to do something, to get something I really, really want but is out of my control, and I'm waiting for some kind of a decision. So when I'm asking for the universe to bring the energy to me, bring to me that which is outside of my control, I can't do anything about it, but I'm really asking for help. Then I'm creating a spiral that goes from the outside and concentrates into me. Visually, they're identical. You could not tell me, looking at these two, which one is which is the beauty of your art. When you do this, you will know exactly which spirals are manifesting and which ones are concentrating. But only you will. You will also know what they signify, and only you will. Right? So this is a beautiful way for us to be able to put our wishes out there without anyone else ever looking at our piece of art, being able to decipher exactly what it is that we wanted to do, and yet be able to emotionally connect to it and see the beauty of your work and of your process. Okay? So what we're going to do now, what we're going to do today, is we're going to go into a short little meditation. I'm going to do a shortened version of what we did yesterday. And when we go into the space of the root chakra, I want you to really think about having let go of everything we let go of yesterday. Forget about the echoes of the past. Forget about what has been. What does the ideal space look like for you moving forward? What do you want to call in? And I want you to just be in observation of that. And then when we come out, we're going to use that as our basis to create our composition. Okay? So when you're ready, what I want you to do is put your feet flat on the ground. Make sure they're not crossed. Put your hands in a calm, receptive manner on your lap. Drop your shoulders. Make sure you're not wearing them for earrings. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. And then when you're ready, close your eyes. And from here, wherever you are with your breath, I want you to exhale now. And then let's take a really big, deep belly breath. I want you to expand your belly as far as you can. And release when you're ready. One more time, deep breath in. And exhale. Now with your next in-breath, I want you to see if you can bring light with your breath all the way to the bottom of your spine. And release the light and let it move back out. One more time, breathe in the light from the crown or your nose, whichever you want. Send it all the way down your spine. And release the breath and any tension in your body or your mind. One more time, let's light ourselves up from within. as you release the breath, I want you to see yourself as miniature standing at the crown of your head with a little elevator shaft leading all the way down your spine. Slowly, with sure steps, I want you to get into the elevator and slowly begin to descend into your own body. Slowly we go past the eyes and the nose and the mouth. Once we go past the chin and into the throat, the further you go, the darker it gets. We go past the clavicles and the heart and the stomach. We travel past all the intestines. And we come to a stop at the very end of your spine. You're going to step out of the elevator and into a short corridor. You're standing in front of the door to your root chakra. What does this door look like? Notice the size. Notice the shape. Notice what it's made out of and what color it is. Now I want you to notice the door handle and if there are any locks on this door. If there are, you are the only one with the key or keys, as the case may be. So one more time, I want you to take a deep breath in. Put your hand on the door handle, unlock it if necessary. And as you exhale, open the door and step in. You are now in the space of the root chakra. One more time, notice the size of the room, the color of the room itself. Is it bright red? Is it dark red? Is it brightly lit? Is it dim? Now I want you to slowly make your way to the center of the room and sit down in the center of it. I want you to think about the sentence, I am. What would you like to come after the words, I am? How would that make you feel? If that statement, I am, was true right now, what would you be feeling differently than what you're feeling right now? What would be different in your life? What would look different in your life? I want you to get a very clear mental picture of what it is that you want. The more details you can imagine, the better. Can you run through a full day in your ideal life? Can you see all the people who will be around? Can you see all the resources you need in order to make that happen? We need to declare who we are and what we want at the very root before we can move up the chain and actually create that which we want in our physical existence. Now I want you to take a mental snapshot of how you want everything to be moving forward. And with that snapshot in your mind, I want you to stand back up in the space of the root chakra. Look for the door again. And when you're ready, walk to the door. Before you open and step back into the corridor, let's make sure we take a deep breath. We cleanse ourselves as we enter and as we exit. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, step out into the hallway and close the door behind you. And then slowly we make our way back to the elevator. And we slowly start to ascend back up. And we move past the intestines, past the stomach, slowly ascend past the heart, and we go past the clavicles, into the throat. And as you begin to come up into the face, the higher we go, there's more light behind your eyes. We go past the chin and the mouth. Wiggle your toes as you arrive at the nose. Wiggle your fingers as you arrive at the eyes. And as you begin to arrive back at the crown, bring your awareness back to your physical being. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay. So, I hope you were able to connect a little bit and you were able to see everything that you want moving forward and how you want your relationship to the past version of you to change. Okay? So, this session is going to be a little bit different because your composition is supposed to look completely different from mine. You're not supposed to copy what I'm doing at all. You're supposed to create your own. Okay? So take the challenge and actually create your own. Now, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think about what is the first shape out of the three that we talked about that you think is the most overall representative feeling or geometry for what you observed in your root. Okay. So, for me, for example, the very first thing that I want moving forward is this feeling of strength and stability. I want to have a stable future. I've had a lot of ups and downs in my past. So I want a stable base moving forward. So the first thing I'm going to draw is I'm going to draw a square. Okay. Now, I also want there to be a lot of peace within this square and moving forward with everything that I do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two circles. I want peace inside of myself and I want peace in the outside world. So I'm going to put two circles, one inside and one around. Okay. Now, the other thing that I want is I want to change the way that I have been seeing myself behaving and relating to the training that I've had since I was very young. And in some ways, I don't want that to interfere with what I'm doing now. I want that, I want there to be a separation. I want to be able to separate myself from the past. So what I'm going to create is a triangle. I want to change the way I viewed things in the past. And then I want that to cause a change into the way that I'm going to carry forward. And I want to have an overall sense of peace about what was in the past, whatever has happened that I cannot change, and whatever is coming. And that's as simple as it gets. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to bring some energy into this. And the one thing I definitely want to do is I want to dissolve all of these sharp angles all over the place. Right? And I want to bring some energy and interconnectivity between the expression I just put and the energy and the universe outside, the people outside. This is the same way that we were doing this in releases. The first thing we put down is our personal expression. This is what I want. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the connections it takes outside of myself to bring the necessary energy and the necessary people to this. And the way to do that is to start creating these lines, especially out of the sharp corners that I have. My pen is giving, unfortunately. And then once you feel like you have enough lines, we're just going to spend some time and round all of our intersections. So we are creating this interconnectivity between all of these different aspects of what we want. The change that might be hard and jarring, because change always is when you disturb the status quo, it is always going to need a period of adjustment, both for you and for the people around you. Because everybody is used to life running a certain way, and then all of a sudden we're changing things. And we also want to kind of acknowledge the interconnectivity of the entire universe and all the world. Everything is interconnected, and we are also interconnected to ourselves and to the whole world around us, the entire universe around us. Everything affects everything. And so we want there to be as much peaceful connection with the world around us as we can get. We want to be at peace with the past. We want to be at peace with society at large, even when, especially when, we are ignoring its norms and rejecting the norms that it's giving us. We still want there to be ease and grace, because that process is not going to be easy. Shedding societal expectations is not an easy thing to do. And society will react, it will reject you at first, until you create your own little society. The people who benefited from you being the way you were before are going to react badly to you putting up boundaries, but that's what you will need to do. If you are to have a different experience in life, then you need to behave differently so that you teach people to treat you differently moving forward. And the people who were benefiting from everything they were getting from the old version of you are not going to like that one bit. So they are going to react. But that's okay. That's part of this process. It is really, really important for you to stand up for what you want in life. You only get one shot at it. And so many of us spend so many years trying to please everyone else, to the point where we forget what it is that really makes us happy. And exploration of what it takes to make you happy is not a snap thing. It changes throughout your life. The thing that makes you happy in your 20s doesn't make you happy in your 50s. The thing that makes you happy in your 30s doesn't make you happy in your 80s. Our needs change, we grow, we have ever evolving needs. And so this idea of happiness is also something that's transient and changes with time and changes with age. So if we don't explore that at any given moment, we actually fall behind on this exploration. And if there's one thing you're here to do on this planet, It's to live with as much joy as possible. And we'll talk about that next week as we get into solar plexus. But you need to give yourself permission to be in order for you to then create joy. You need to give yourself permission to take space. You need to give yourself permission to make mistakes. You need to be there for yourself, even if no one else is going to be there for you. You need to know that you are strong enough and worthy and important enough. And that's all the work of root chakra. For you to be able to say with no hesitation, with all the confidence and all the love in the world, I am. And then choose what words come after. Here's the thing, every time we use the words I am and then a word after it, the words that come right after it are limiting beliefs. You're limiting yourself when you identify yourself as one thing. You're limiting yourself as not the opposite. When I say I am female, I am saying I am not male. I do not identify as such. When I, for example, say I am Iranian or Canadian, I am saying I am not German or Australian or American. So every time we make a choice, we give up other choices. So anything that you identify with automatically is a limiting belief. Now, not all limiting beliefs are bad. It is not always bad to be limited, especially because we are limited creatures. We have a limited capacity for understanding. We are not unlimited beings. In fact, we are very limited. And as such, it actually benefits us and our brain to sometimes have limitations. We need to have limitations in order for us to have comprehension. Okay, that's limits are the way that our brain learns and behaves. It's the limits are the way the brain decides when something is a glass jar and when something is a glass that you drink out of, or it's the glass that is on the window in your home. It's the way we get to understand ourselves. So not all limits are bad. The limits, those limits you want to get rid of in your life that stop you from reaching your full potential, from self-actualizing. The limits that you are feeling imprisoned by, those are the limits that we want to get rid of. Otherwise, we are all little limited parcels of consciousness. None of us is unlimited. And we cannot be unlimited because we are constrained by space-time. We live here and now. We are conscious and aware here and now. Whatever it was that wasn't allowing you to say the words I am, we got rid of through the process of release. Now, with this process, we create that which you want to become. If you're feeling any kind of resistance while doing this, please do a release with that resistance. Express it. Don't push it away. It is really important for you not to abandon any part of you. It is really important for us to sometimes even embody our darkness. Because of our social conditioning, we are all taught that we want to be in our light manifestation. We want to be the best versions of ourselves, the versions of ourselves that society is proud of. That's what usually means when we say the best version of ourselves, right? Sunday service, dressed to the nine, spick and span. But we are not all clandestine people. We are not all, none of us is an angel. None of us is without sin. None of us is without the negative experiences of being human. We have all experienced rage and envy and jealousy and insecurity and rivalry and all of that. We need to give ourselves permission for healthy expression of the shadow self. Because locking it up is not going to do anyone any good. That part of you needs to be expressed. And if we don't find a healthy way of allowing it to express itself, it will express in the most destructive manner possible. Even as light beings, we all have shadows. And for every single one of us, all the shadow wants is to be embraced by the light. Is for the light to tell it, it's okay, I see you, and I'm not trying to get rid of you. I love you as you are. So the point of this process today is for you to put in place all the thought patterns that you need in order to move forward with full confidence, in order for you to be able to give yourself permission to say the words I am and choose what comes after it. This is your permission slip for you to be completely selfish for a minute. This is only about you, not anyone else. Not what they need, not what they want, not what they expect. Only you. What do you want? What do you need? What do you expect? And once you have everything rounded, what you want to do is bring some color into this. Now, we are working with the root chakra, so the two main colors that I suggest we work with are the colors of the chakras itself. So red and yellow. I'm going to try to keep mine pretty monochromatic in terms of just using red. And you can mix media if you like. You can use markers and pencils and crayons and pastels if you like. Just no wet mediums because you get rid of your lines. So I want to bring to myself all of these different energies of red. And once you have your composition colored the way you like, you are all done with programming your root chakra. It can be as simple as that. So, this completes our root chakra exploration. Next week, starting Monday, we're going to start looking at the sacral chakra, and we're going to start moving up week after week. If you are part of the newsletter, then you're going to get all the reminder emails. If you want to be part of the newsletter, go over to the website, subscribe to the newsletter, put yourself as part of the mailing list, and I will make sure that you are included and you will get all the information in the upcoming weeks. Moving forward, I'm going to see you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time as we continue this exploration. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. Thank you for giving me part of your Saturday if you were with me live. If you're doing this at any other time, thank you for your trust. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this process. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments for me, and I will come back and I will respond to your questions as soon as I can. Have a blessed day, everybody. Thank you so much.